Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today we are continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, 9th chapter, and verse number 10 today. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai-ho, glories to Prabhupada, my obeisances to all the devotees.
Yes, Maharaj. So the chapter is titled Answers by Citing the Lord's Version, and we are on verse number 10. Sharing my screen again. Today the purport is a little bit long, Maharaj.
Yeah, I'm going to read and comment as we go along instead of reading it straight through.
Sure.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Pavartate yatra rajastham. Pavartate yatra rajasthamastayo. Sadvam Chamistra Chalakala Vikramaha Nayatramaya Kim Uttapara Harer Anurata Yatra Sura Surar Chitaha. Now listen up, everyone. This is very technical, but it's very interesting. In that personal abode of the Lord, the material modes of ignorance and passion do not prevail, nor is there any of their influence in goodness. There is no predominance of the influence of time, so what to speak of the illusionary external energy, it cannot enter that region. Without discrimination, both the demigods and demons worship the Lord as devotees. Purport. The kingdom of God, or the atmosphere of the Vaikuntha nature, which is called Tripad Vibhuti, is 3 times bigger than the material universes and is described here as also in the Bhagavad Gita in a nutshell. This universe, containing billions of stars and planets, is one of the billions of such universes clustered together within the compass of the Mahatattva. All of these millions and billions of universes combined together constitute only 1/4 of the magnitude of the whole creation of the Lord. There is the spiritual sky also. Beyond this sky are the spiritual planets named the Vaikunthas, and all of them constitute 3/4 of the entire creation of the Lord. God's creations are always innumerable. Even the leaves of a tree cannot be counted by a man, nor are the heads of the hair. However, foolish men are puffed up with the idea of becoming God. So here it's interesting. We, from our ant-like existence, we can't really understand the actually magnitude of the creation. It's not possible. We can only accept it on the basis of authority. All of the billions of universes with all their planets and stars and galaxies and living entities are only 1/4 of the entire creation of the Lord. And that is called Ekapad Vibhuti. Tripad Vibhuti is the spiritual world, where it's not measurable. There's no way to measure it. It's just unlimited. It's pure spiritual energy, and it's the actual abode of the Supreme Lord in all of his different manifestations. So we get a little idea. It's like the ant on the ground is talking with his fellow ant, and he says, you know, I think there's something up there, and I'm not sure what it is. And or then he starts to maybe giving his ant-like definition of what he thinks it is. The other ant says, I think you have too much sugar, so you're a little intoxicated, so I don't think you're talking very intelligently. So this is our existence. We're so small, we're tiny. Yet when we exist in the material world, we measure big and small within our range, and then we see things in the same way beyond, but it's not even close. So, in terms of magnitude, the spiritual world is three-fourths larger of this unlimited creative world, which cannot even be measured. What even can't even measure one of the universes, where there's billions of universes clustered together like mustard seeds in a big jar of mustard seeds. So, but then Prabhupada goes on to say, even the leaves of the trees cannot be counted by man, nor can the hairs on his head. However, foolish men are puffed up with the idea of becoming God himself, though unable to create a hair on their own bodies. In other words, everything is given to us, yet we think we can become the source of all existence. We can't create anything. We are under the influence of a higher energy, and our creative power is very limited within a certain range of manipulating the material energy. But beyond that, there is on the magnitude of actual existence, and we think, oh, well, yeah, actually, I know so much. I have some power. I must be an incarnation of God or God himself. Man may discover so many wonderful vehicles of journey, but even if he reaches the moon by his much advertised spacecraft, he cannot remain there, even if he reaches it. The Prabhupada went on public radio when he first got to America in the late 1960s. Was an interview, and he said they never went to the moon, and that was quite a strong statement at that time, and many people didn't accept it. But then later on, many books came out, and it was proved that what they thought was the moon was just the Sahara Desert in in Phoenix, Arizona, or somewhere in that area of America. So it was a whole dupe thing in order to get money for these different projects. Billions of people poured in billions of dollars for this space adventure, which turned out to be a real farce. The sane man, therefore, without being puffed up as if he were God of the universe, abides by the instructions of the Vedic literature. So, the Vedic literature is Teni Brahma Yida, coming from the Lord himself through his representative. So this is absolute knowledge. God is absolute, and the knowledge he gives is also absolute. God doesn't give anything that is not actually truth. Although we may not understand it, still it is actually coming from the perfect source. Therefore we can accept it. If we have faith that God is perfect, then we also have to accept the idea that God gives perfect knowledge. You can't say, well, God is perfect, but then his knowledge is not. That's a contradictory. Perfection means in all angles of vision and all authorities of all subject matters. So let us go through the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam, of the nature of the constitutional transcendental world beyond this material sky. In that sky, the material qualities, especially, here's the main point of this whole chapter here, the beginning, especially the modes of passion and ignorance are completely absent. The mode of ignorance influences a living entity to the habit of lust and hankering. And this means that in the Vaikuntha Lokas, the spiritual world, the living entities are free from these two things: hankering and lamenting, intoxication, sleep, madness, strong desire for sense gratification. These are the qualities of the modes of passion and ignorance, which are confirmed simply by observing the activities of the conditioned souls in this world. Therefore, therefore the conclusion is that the inhabitants of the Vaikuntha planets are all Brahma Bhuta, living entities. That means they're spiritual, as distinguished from the mundane creatures who are all compact in hankering and limitation. So this is very important to understand. If you carefully observed how people live, people hanker after something, and if they don't get it, they lament. Or if they get it, it doesn't satisfy their desires for happiness, and then they lament. Or if they get it and it gives some satisfaction, it leaves at a certain time, and they also lament. So that's the nature of this world. Hankering for something, lamenting, back and forth. Prabhupada said it's like the football game. The ball goes to one side and it goes to the other side, back and forth. When one is not in the modes of ignorance and passion, one is supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness in the material world. So goodness in the material world also at times becomes contaminated by the touches of the mode of passion and ignorance. In the Vaikuntha Loka, it is unalloyed goodness also. So then we have to understand what is the difference between unalloyed goodness and goodness. That means goodness that which is never contaminated by the lower modes. The situation there in the spiritual world is one of freedom from illusionary manifestation of the external energy. Okay, everyone is in full knowledge. Although illusionary energy is also part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, illusionary energy is differentiated from the Lord. The illusionary energy is not, however, false, as claimed by the monist philosophers. And Prabhupada gives an example here. What is the difference, how they see something that is seen in the wrong way. The rope accepted as a snake may be an illusion to a particular person. So if you see a rope and you think that's a snake, it's an illusion. It's not. But the rope is a fact, and the snake is a fact. The Mayavadis say, well, the rope is real, but when you see the snake, that is unreal. But the snake is also a fact, so they define it as not existing, but it exists, but it's not connected to the rope. It's different. The illusion of water on the hot desert may be illusion for the ignorant animals searching for water in the desert. Another example. But the desert and the water are actual facts. Therefore, the creation of the Lord may be an illusion to the non-devotee, but to a devotee, even a material creation of the Lord is a fact as a manifestation of his external energy. By this energy of the Lord, but this energy of the Lord is not all. So this material world, there's a class of spiritualists who say it's illusion. It's not real. We say it is illusion, but it is temporary. So it does exist within a certain period of time, but it changes. So from our perspective, yes, it's illusionary because it's changing. But the fact that it does exist, if you hit your head against the wall, you feel pain. There's a class of Buddhists, they're known as Zen Buddhists. They teach Zen to a group of their followers. They sit them down, and then one monk will come along and hit you hard with a stick. And your idea was, actually, this pain is an illusion. This pain is an illusion because, I'm not the body and there's no pain for me. So not too many people can stay with that tradition because there is pain, no question about it, because we are connected to the body. But the pain is related to the body, but they say there's no pain. There is. So this is another idiocy of how they explain the idea of illusion. With a poor fund of knowledge, one may be unable to understand the existence of such things as the Vaikuntha atmosphere. So if we don't have knowledge, then there's no understanding. But that does not nullify its existence. In other words, if you don't know something, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. There's a statement that seeing is believing. And if I don't see it, I don't believe it. You can't see air, but it's real. And if there was no air, you wouldn't be able to live. So there's a lot of things we can't see. We can't even see our eyelids, which are right in front of our eyes, but they still exist. So, yeah, that spacecraft, continue, that spacecraft cannot reach the planets doesn't mean there are no such planets, for they're described in the revealed scriptures. Continue on. As quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami, we know from the Narada Pancharatra that the transcendental world of Vaikuntha Atma is enriched with transcendental qualities. So we have to know what is the difference between mundane qualities and transcendental qualities. These transcendental qualities, as revealed through the devotional servant of the Lord, are distinct from the mundane qualities of ignorance, passion, and goodness. Such qualities are not attainable by the non-devotee class of men. In the Padma Purana, Uttarakhanda, it is stated that beyond the 1/4 part of God creation is the 3/4 manifestation. The marginal line between the material manifestation and the spiritual manifestation is the Viraja River. And beyond the Raja River, which is the transcendental current flowing from the perspiration of the body of the Lord, there is 3/4 of God's creation. So here you get a little geographical understanding. Now, if you go outside of the coverings of the material energy, it's described that the universe is covered by the eightfold characteristics, such as earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And as you go from gross to subtle, each layer is thicker by 10 times. So the whole material universe is covered by these. And to get beyond that, then if one can go beyond it, there is a river called Viraja, which is simply, as it says here, it's the perspiration of the body of the Lord. I mean, we perspire, what about maybe 1 ounce? But when God perspires, it's a river or it's an ocean. Okay, and then we continue on. This part, referring to God's creation, is everlasting, without deterioration, and unlimited. Okay, so everlasting, it's eternal. That means it was never born, never created. Everlasting, it doesn't stop. It doesn't become less, or it is unlimited. In other words, one cannot understand it. And it contains the highest perfectional stage of the conditioned energy. So this is the goal of the conditioned souls, to get to that realm where life is eternal, full of knowledge, and full of unlimited happiness, which is the characteristics of the conditioned souls who try to make these 3 things happen in the material world. They try to gather knowledge, but they get something. They want happiness, they get a drop or so. Someday they try for something, and they want to live forever, so they could create these ideas there was this thing called chirogenics. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's you would go and you would pay like a large amount of money, $10,000, $20,000, and then when you die, then once they got the secret of eternal life, then they would bring it back to you and you would live again. But it is foolishness because we understand that the living entity doesn't stay within the body. The body deteriorates as soon as the living entity starts to leave the body, and the living entity goes on to another situation. So, but they want to preserve the present body they're in by this false idea of this technological machines that they somehow created. Okay, in the Sankhya, continue, Kavudi, it is stated that unalloyed goodness or transcendence is just the opposite to the material modes. All living entities there are eternally associated without a break, and the Lord is the chief and prime entity. In the Agama Puranas also, the transcendental abode of the Lord is described. So we get some idea what it's like in the spiritual world. The association members there are free to go everywhere within the creation of the Lord. So when you free yourself from this body and you attain your spiritual existence, you can go anywhere. You don't need any kind of conveyances or any machines or anything. You can fly from place to place. You can disappear in one place and appear in another place. You're not limited by the laws of material energy because the laws of material energy cannot enter there. And it says that there is no limit to such creation, particularly in the region of the three-fourths magnitude. Since the nature of the region is unlimited, there is no history of such association, nor is there end of it. Yeah. You can't give it a history, nor can you measure it. Okay. Continue. Could go up a little more. The conclusion may be drawn that because of the complete absence, here's the point, of the material qualities of ignorance and passion, there is no question of creation or annihilation. So when the qualities of the material energy are not there, there's no creation and annihilation. The material world, everything is created and everything is annihilated. And the duration of life between creation and annihilation is temporary. We know that. In the transcendental realm, there is no creation and no destruction, and thus the duration of life is eternally unlimited. So all of these things that are there in the spiritual world, we're trying to make it happen in the material world, but the energy that in the material world does not allow for that. So Prabhupada goes on to say, in other words, everything in the transcendental world is everlasting, full of knowledge and bliss without deterioration. Since there is no deterioration, there is no past, present, and future. Everything in the estimation of time. It means everything exists in this pure spiritual existence. And there's no question that something happened in the past or something's about to happen in the future. One lives in the pure present. It is clearly stated in this verse that the influence of time is conspicuous by his absence. So time moves everything along, but there's no time in the spiritual world. The whole material existence is manifested by actions and reactions of elements which make the influence of time prominent in the matter of past, present, and future. There's even people in this world who can go back to the present, back to the past, and see in the future. If you know the science, you can do that because everything is already manifested accordingly. The future is already there and you have to go see it if you can do that. But in the spiritual world, there is no past, present, and future. Continue. There are no such actions and reactions of cause and effect there. So the cycle of birth, growth, existence, transformations, deterioration, and annihilation, which are the six material changes, are not existing there in the spiritual world. It is the unalloyed manifestation of the energy of the Lord without illusion as experienced here in the material world. So that pure energy exists, and there's no illusion, and there's no change. The whole Vaikuntha existence proclaims that everyone there is the follower of the Lord. The Lord is the chief leader there without any competition for leadership, and people in general are followers of the Lord. It is confirmed in the Vedas, therefore, that the Lord is the chief leader and all other living entities are subordinate to him. And for only the Lord satisfies all the needs of all living entities. So in this world, we elect leaders, or we adopt leaders to help us get guidance and fulfill our desires to live in this world, to help provide for our needs. So everyone has to accept a leader. There's no question. But here in the spiritual world, the leader is the Lord himself. Therefore, he is the perfect leader. And what does he do? He satisfies all the needs of all living entities, which are uh, unlimited knowledge, unlimited happiness, and the happiness that one experiences in activities in the spiritual world. Just like we see there's interaction of the living entities in this material world, but it's based on the activities in this world are based on self-motivation. In the spiritual world, there's pure activities based on service to the Lord and loving exchanges between the living entities who exist in that spiritual world. So there's no lust, there's no anger, there's no greed, there's no enmity, there's no, what we say, duplicity, all of the qualities that you see that go on in this material world every day they're absent. But still, the needs of the living entities are there, and the Lord satisfies the need. And Prabhupada was talking to one professor, Kotatsky, in Russia, when Prabhupada went there in 1971. He was a professor of Hinduism, and so Prabhupada had the opportunity to meet him, and they were talking. You can get the conversation, and then this professor Kotatsky couldn't understand anything. Prabhupada was trying to explain to him the process of transmigration of the soul from one body to another. He was saying, well, as far as I understand, at the end of life, when you die, it's all over, and that's the end. While you're existing here, that's the reality, and when you die, there's no more. He couldn't get it. And then Prabhupada was speaking on other things also. He still couldn't get it. Finally, Prabhupada said, everyone must follow a leader. And then Prabhupada said, you following your leader, Lenin, and we're following our leader, Krishna. So the principle of following leadership is intrinsic or innate quality of the living entity. Everyone follows a superior or a leader. The question is, what is the quality of that leader and how is he leading? But Krishna is perfect, so therefore the devotees should take leadership from Krishna as it comes to us through his representatives who are representing Krishna according to how Krishna was represented. When Prabhupada was in America, someone asked Prabhupada, can you recommend a Bhagavad Gita to me? And so Prabhupada said, no, because there are no Bhagavad Gitas that actually teach the actual message of Bhagavad Gita. man was a little shocked. Prabhupada says that they make their own interpretations, they screw out their own meanings, and we can see how many people are actually living Bhagavad Gita in the Western world. Hardly anybody. But then Prabhupada's Gita came out, Bhagavad Gita as it is. And Prabhupada, being a pure devotee of the Lord, his intelligence is in line with the knowledge that the Lord gives. And he can explain the Lord's meaning in according to how the Lord wants it understood. So therefore, when Bhagavad Gita as it is came out, so many people became devotees of Krishna because they got the knowledge purely. If you give something mixed, it's like so there's a few examples that maybe people will not appreciate anyway. But one of the ones is if you're a full-fledged Italian and somebody gives you a pizza with some uh, pineapple on it, and you want to run in the other direction. Or to be a more, if someone says, well, here's some sweet rice, to make it a little, you know, crunchy, we put a little bit of sand in the sweet rice just to give it a crunch, to add to it. And you would think that ruins the whole sweet rice. So when we uh, try to add something to to the purity, we make it impure. But in the spiritual world, the Lord is the supreme pure, and He also leads in the pure way, and He gives purely what the living entities need for their existence. So this is a nice little description of some of the characteristics of the spiritual world. But the main point here is there's no influence of time, and there's no influence of the effects of time, such as is mentioned here: birth, growth, existence, transformations, deteriorations, and annihilation. None of these things exist in the spiritual world. But you cannot really understand everything simply by philosophical uh, discussion. You have to accept the basic principles and then apply them to your knowledge and live according like that. And that qualifies you to gain greater knowledge. And when your knowledge is pure, then you're qualified to go back home, back to the spiritual world. And as this is a nice description of the spiritual world here. Okay, so any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. Nicely explained the purport. And yeah, it's a wonderful place to be in Vaikunta. So yeah, we get excited to hear all the qualities of the Vaikunta Lokas. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Dear devotees, any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead. Please turn on your cameras if possible. Thank you so much. The Maharaj, I just want to know the difference between the Vaikuntha Lokas and the Goloka Vrindavana. So because we are always saying that we have to go back home, back to Godhead. So is it really the Vaikuntha Loka or the Goloka Vrindavana which we have to aspire for?
Well, because we are followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's teaching, he is Radha and Krishna in one. He's teaching the mood of Vrindavan, of Goloka Vrindavan, where the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is seen from the position that the Lord is just another living being within that realm, but he is the most attractive, the most lovable, the most qualified. So they don't see him as the supreme creator or the supreme autocrat. They see him simply on these loving, just like in this world, we have relationships with our friends, we have relationships as parent and children. We have relationships with lovers and beloved, different manifestations of quality. So this world is like a reflection, but a perverted reflection, not a real reflection. Example is given: if you hold an image in front of the mirror will show exactly what is being held in front of it. But the mirror has no reality, it's just a reflection. It's the person outside that's being reflected. So this material world is simply a reflection of the spiritual world, where things go on similarly, but actually there is no inebrities, there's no influence of time, there is no influence of the different modes of material energy which cause deterioration of activities. Everything is it's in its pure spiritual essence. Spiritual means not influenced by material in any way. So Lord Chaitanya is teaching us this realm, but as one makes advancement through the different stages of bhakti, one starts to understand a little bit about their tendency to worship the Lord. So there are devotees who are devotees of Nrsingadev. There are devotees who are devotees of Lord Ram and other manifestations of the Vaikuntha realm also, such as devotees of Kapila, devotees of um, Vamanadev. So these are all in the Vaikuntha realm. And in that realm, the Lord is seen as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the worship is in awe and reverence, not in what we say, familiarity or relationships based on um, one's particular rasa. In this Vaikuntha realms, the rasas are neutrality, servitorship, and there's an element of friendship in Vaikuntha, but the friendship in Vaikuntha, as it's different from the friendship in Goloka, is that in the friendship of Vaikuntha, Krishna is the superior person. But in the friendship in Goloka, is that the friends are on an equal level, or Krishna's friends are more superior than him. So it's the moods are different. That's all. The worship is different. So we aspire to follow into the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya, and he gave us the process by chanting the holy names of the Lord, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and following the instructions of Krishna's representative. We can go to the realm of Goloka Vrindavan when we become perfect. So yeah, this is all explained in the Shastras. So Lord Chaitanya is the avatar in this age, and he's very merciful. He's called Karuna Avatar. And his instructions are quite easy. Especially, he says, chant. And that chanting has been given to us by our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, in a numerical way. But the actual instruction is, to chant always. That's the actual instruction. It was given in a numerical way because people can't do beyond a certain level. But those who practice chanting will automatically chant more and chant always. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that when you chant every day, you'll come to the point of chanting always. Yes, that's if you're chanting without offense, of course. So yeah, we are followers. We are Rupa Nugas. That's our identity. Rupa Goswami is our teacher of the process of devotional service, and he is an intimate follower of Lord Chaitanya. He got all his knowledge from Lord Chaitanya. So yeah, we aspire for Goloka Vrindavan.
Hmm. Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Devotees, any questions?
Not too many questions today, huh?
Yeah. Devotees are thinking maybe, Maharaj. Yeah. Shivakumar Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Maharaj and Dr. Brahms. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Maharaj, I kind of heard you saying that uh, there are certain things that cannot be just understood philosophically, intellectually, but you have to take the process and apply the knowledge to our life. Only then we can understand. But just still, I'm just asking this question, Maharaj, from theoretical standpoint, theoretical point of view. When we try to kind of understand the scriptures, for example, there are certain things, or there are more things for which we are given examples even in this material world, and we look at it and we try to use that example to assimilate the knowledge from the scriptures, and we also apply it in our sadhana, and it works also, Maharaj. But as we understand, there is only limitation to the material examples, and beyond the point we cannot understand everything that we find in the scriptures, and so we are limited by our capacity to kind of assimilate that knowledge using the material examples, Maharaj.
You're talking about analogies?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj. In terms of trying to understand philosophy or a principle, what we hear as an example analogy, we only hear, we can only understand the material analogy or example because that's within our reach, within our experience. But there are certain things for which there cannot be any example or analogy that cannot be given, or it might be contradictory to how we see in this world also, right, Maharaj? There are certain things. For
But
example,
there's those who can understand more than us, and there's those who understand more than them.
Mm,
So we receive knowledge more and more from the authority. When we get knowledge directly from Krishna, then that knowledge is pure and absolute. Whether we understand it or not is the second thing. Therefore, as you said, the knowledge is theoretical. But
mm,
theory is the beginning. But then we would have to take that knowledge and apply it
mm,
in our activities. And then we get some understanding through that application.
mm,
And then skills and realizations manifest. And that knowledge becomes no longer theoretical, but becomes integral part of one's consciousness.
mm,
It becomes part of one's character.
mm,
So that there's a what we say a system that when you know something that's good, but then you have to use it. Just like a doctor can person go to medical school and come out with a degree but never do any practice. So what is the use? I mean, he has everything in place, but he's not using it. So therefore, he can't be classified as a doctor because he's not practicing,
mm,
even though he may have a degree.
mm,
So theory, you can't live on theory, but it's a beginning to understanding. That's all.
mm, mm,
And then from theory, then comes understanding, then application, then realization, then skills and qualities start to develop.
mm, mm,
It's a process.
mm,
Yeah. So, but try to understand as much as you can. The scriptures do give us a unlimited explanation of many of the points, and there's many scriptures that also coincide with the main points and giving us from different angles, just like the Upanishads support the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is the perfect explanation of pure devotional service. The Upanishads are the Shrutis, the Vedas itself. So there's many quotations that come from the Upanishads to support statements in the Bhagavatam, in other scriptures such as um, Bhagavad Gita, also Nectar of Devotion, the main scriptures. So yeah, so we can do a study of this great science. There's a lot out there. And if you do it accordingly, your intelligence becomes sharp, and then you can start to see things and experience things according to the knowledge that you've obtained. But things that are what we say ahogasaja, that means beyond the range of the senses, we can only go so far. Because even it defies even the intelligent attempt to understand. But that's the nature of the spiritual world. It's not understandable simply by explanation. Because there is opposite. Nothing, there's activities there, but nothing changes. How do you understand that? Here, when there's activities, produce change. But everything exists in its pure spiritual essence. And you have to understand that there's no limitation there. But here, everything is limited by the time factor and by the material nature. So how can you understand something unlimited when we think in the terms of a limited way, or we experience life in a limited way? You have to take knowledge from the unlimited, or Krishna himself and his representative who receive that knowledge so they can distribute it. So therefore, yeah, as Jiva Goswami says, achintya, it's inconceivable. But it's realizable through the process of pure devotional service. Transcendental knowledge that is beyond the realm of our intelligence is understood intuitively by the perfection of the soul's existence. As we become more advanced in devotional service, then things are revealed to us through our experiences and through the study of the scriptures at the same time. So that's intuitive knowledge. We experience intuitive knowledge in this world also. Sometimes we know, although we can't explain something, we know something is right or something is wrong. Sometimes people say, well, I know it's not right, but I can't explain it. That's knowledge that's intuitive, which is spiritual knowledge, is revealed in an intuitive way. When Brahma was meditating, it was Krishna that spoke to him that knowledge. But Brahma was pure because he had performed all of the austerities and he had reached self-realization. So when he heard that knowledge, he understood it. We can hear the same knowledge, but because we haven't reached purity, we won't understand it. We'll understand it in a limited way. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you should stop studying. Keep reading, studying, ask questions, get clarifications, and apply.
Thank you so much for the detailed answer. Thank you, sir. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Pradash. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, any more questions? Yeah. Revati Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hi, Krishna. Good morning. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to the Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, I want to just clarify, like mention, like in the spiritual world, there is no time. So how should we understand that? That means there is no day.
Yeah. You can't because you think in terms of time. How can you understand something that is beyond your range of experience or intellect? Yeah, we do everything in time, and the time affects us always. While we were a little girl, now we're a grown-up woman. Time factor changes. We, the soul, don't change, but everything material or everything that comes under the influence of the elements, earth, water, fire, other minds, intelligence form, they're subject to the time element. It's changing, changing, changing. The constant principle of the material energy is change.
Mm.
Everything is always changing. Therefore, we can't be happy here because we want something, but we lose it in due course of time. Even the greatest achievement material is subject to the time factor. That's why, and we're always in fear of losing what we gain, but that fear is just the fear of the time factor. That's all. Everything's changing, changing, changing. But we don't change. So we need to go to a realm where we are aligned with our nature, and that's the spiritual world where there's no change. There's no time. But there's still activity.
So it's like continuous. There's no change.
Yeah, it's hard to understand. Sometimes we use a little joking example. It's kind of like a way to uh, make you think. So people eat in the spiritual world, but the food doesn't change. It's still there
Mhm.
because nothing deteriorates. So if you eat a globulin and you eat it, you taste the globulin, you enjoy it, but the globulin's still there. So we use these little quips to somehow or other make you think that because you should understand there's activity in the spiritual world. There's relationships in the spiritual world. There's many various types of um, ways that people interact, and that's all explained. But still, there's no change in the essence. So mm, we have no example of that in the material world. So therefore, we don't believe it, or we think it's mythical or some fictional. It sounds like a nice novel. Because just because we can't come to that understanding, it's not possible. But that's the process of bhakti. It brings you to that understanding.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, it's a process to experience that feeling. Yeah, thank you very much.
Hmm.
Yeah. Even I was thinking the same to ask Maharaj about the time, because it's like we can't even imagine how it will be. Maybe after going to Vaikuntha Loka, we'll be bewildered to see the different things. I don't know how it will.
There's no old age, disease, death, or birth in the spiritual world
Mm.
because nothing's ever created, nothing transforms, and nothing ends.
Yes.
And that's who you are. You have to, if you understand a little bit about your own spiritual nature, you understand that's a microcosm of the reality. It's like you're changing your body, but you're the same person.
So I just want to clarify one more thing, Maharaj, that the impersonalist, they reach until the level of the Brahman, right? Brahma Jyoti. After that, they fall down again, and then they have to go back to Vaikuntha through the process of bhakti only.
Yeah, Aruna Krishnena Padam Padam Padanti Yada. because they don't engage in devotional service, they fall down. They elevate themselves beyond the material energy by austerities, penances, and various types of worship, but they don't worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore, although they attain a higher realm of the material energy, because they haven't worshipped the Supreme Lord, which is the nature of the soul's existence, they can't attain that spiritual realm that they get, so they come back down again.
Yeah.
And they usually fall down into the mode of goodness. They open hospitals. They become yogis who have, tea factories for good health, or or some 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 pharmacy there where you can get all of the natural ingredients to keep yourself alive a little longer than most people. So so they actually become, they propagate the mode of goodness, at least to some extent. But they can't be pure in their goodness, because it mentions here in this purport that the goodness is attacked by ignorance and passion sometimes, and therefore the effects of goodness is lost.
Mm. Yes, Maharaj.
It's just like you're sitting and you're reading a nice book and you're happy, and all of a sudden a mosquito comes and bites you, and that's the end of your happiness. So you didn't plan that, but it happened.
Yeah. Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Kanchanabji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, my obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. All glories to you, Maharaj. Maharaj, I was just thinking about this concept of fear of change. And does it mean that if we have fear, or if we fear change, that we're in material consciousness, and that's why we have fear of change? Because I was just thinking about, in the spiritual world, there's no fear. And here there is always change, and a lot of people have this, I don't like change, or I'm afraid of change. I'm one of those also. Is that just is that a thing of consciousness?
It's not a reality. If you're living according to understanding, you'll see things are always changing.
Mm.
Every moment the body is changing, and every 7 years you get a new body. Even the medical scientists know that the
Yeah.
whole molecular structure changes after 7 years. But the process you can't see. It's called the aging process. But even the things around you, which are made out of deadness, just like if you have some tree, is wood, or you have some piece of wood, you build a house, the house will start to deteriorate after a while because of time, because of the elements, like that. The biggest mountains will become molehills, small little hills, in hundreds of years. So even the external energy is in its magnitude of greatness, is also subject to deterioration or change.
Mm.
So why create this false fear? Because if you don't want change and you're in the midst of change all the time, if you don't want any change, just get out of the material world. That's all. And then you can fulfill that desire.
Mm. So change, in one sense, we have to make a change to have no change. change where we are.
Change in the right direction.
And so when we're bewildered by change,
but what we're going through is not change, but it's transformation.
yeah,
We're transforming. We're cutting away the illusions and bringing out the reality. Reality is our spiritual existence, distinct from the material changes. We even see that example is there. A person goes through different stages of life. The body is changing, but you're the same person.
What about Marge when it's things like our service might change, a service we're attached to might change, our ashram might change, our relationships, our friendships, our connection with devotees. The world does keep changing, but then when we're bewildered by the change or we're afraid of the change, does that mean that we're not spiritually situated?
You're not aware that every particular service is meant to please the Supreme Lord or to serve the Lord. Therefore, on that level, there's no change.
Yeah.
Connect the reality of the activity. The activity is to connect with the Lord, and the different activities are guided in the same way to connect with the Lord. So in that sense, there's no change because the object is not changing.
Right. So our love and relationship with Krishna is life, what life should be, and everything else can change, but that doesn't change our life, which is to be with Krishna and connect to him.
Yeah, in fact, you're always with Krishna. Even Prabhupada talks about that. You're always with Krishna, but you can't realize it because you're covered. That's all.
Yeah, because like when COVID came, it's just like, oh my God, there's a pandemic. If a war started, my consciousness is just like, oh my God, there's a war. It's the fear and just I guess materialistic or conditioned consciousness.
Yeah, you take precautions in material situations, but you know that these things are external to your existence. Therefore, if you stay connected with Krishna, you're not affected by the activities of the material world.
Marge, something else on this, being connected with Krishna. I was speaking to a couple of devotees yesterday, and they were talking about going on a plane, and they were thinking, "Oh my God, can I go on Air India?" And there was this fear, and I just wanted to ask Maharaj, if we're in a situation, because it can happen to anyone, that we just know that that death from nowhere, death is just coming. Like maybe we're on a plane that's about to crash, or someone's just pointing a gun at you. How I know there's like, okay, think of Krishna, but then I was thinking yesterday, if I was on an aeroplane, I remember when that plane crashed, if I was on an aeroplane, the fear would just override me so much. I don't even know if I'd be able to say Krishna's name or think of him. I'd just be scared of what's about to happen. So if a situation like that comes and there's just so much terror within us, what should one do? What can one do to?
Well, you should remember the process of devotional service is to remember Krishna always. You practice that now when there's no calamities. It'll be there when you face calamities. But if you don't practice it, then all of a sudden something happens. You're not prepared.
Yeah.
You have to become Krishna conscious now, and you'll be Krishna conscious when that situation happens also. It's not the situation that will bring about the success. It's your success is now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned some calamities, but just look around you. If you're walking across the street and you're a little inattentive, you're finished.
Yeah.
If you have a big bed in your house, you think I should have a really high bed so I can sleep close to the ceiling. And then you roll over, and then that's it. That's the last thing you do. And that's happened before. People go to a restaurant to eat, they get something stuck in their throat, and they can't get it out, and they choke, and they die.
Mm.
So this whole world is full of danger. Padam padam yavi padam. You have to be careful. Prabhupada says conscious of Krishna, cautious of Maya.
Conscious of Krishna, cautious of Maya. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we have to act in a certain way as not to bring about a calamity in our life. Because calamities will come automatically, and there's those that we create by our wrong activities.
Mm. Mm. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Nice questions.
And thank you. That was a great point.
Yes, Maharaj. So we have a question on chat by Deron Prabhu. He's asked, he's telling Hare Krishna Maharaj, I work with organizations and governments to help them navigate major transformations. Over time, I have seen that true lasting change begins when leadership is internally stable and grounded. To support this, I try to bridge familiar business concepts with foundational yogic and meditative practices, tools they can use both personally and professionally. I intentionally keep the language in a business context to ensure the work is accessible and delivers measurable ROI. Still, my deeper aim is to connect them to something eternal. Is there a more refined or skillful way to offer this? One that maintains the essence of the inner work while staying effective and appropriate in these environments.
Yeah, you can, from the scientific point of view, you can present sound. Sound is the transforming thing, and people are transformed by sound vibration. Things are transformed by the element of sound. So then, if you can somehow interject this concept of sound, then you can talk about different kinds of sound. And then you can gradually show the difference between sound that's temporary and sound that is spiritual by showing the example of sound vibration. They like even today there are certain people who use the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in a medical way to cure people's mental diseases, and it's working. Of course, we don't do that because that's not our business. But sound, if you can introduce sound within your profession there, along with the other principles you mentioned, the yoga practices and all these, then you can then they can move to a more higher level of understanding. Because the sound, even though they don't know it, is pure spiritual energy. It's Krishna himself. So they're approaching it, what is called the Gyata Sukriti, unknowingly getting benefits from it. And in due course of time, if they continue with that way, they may also understand that it has nothing to do with this world. It's spiritual. So I would say, yeah, if you read the third canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, 26th chapter, verse number 32, and that's the start, and that one's a good one. Read verse 33 and especially verse 34. You'll get a little bit of scientific, philosophical, psychological understanding of the spiritual realm, which can be understood from people who have knowledge of physics and all of these other sciences they understand the workings, but they don't understand the force behind it or the person behind it. So, yeah, I would suggest you read that chapter, and especially from 26 onward. Even before verse 26, it's interesting. It's a very scientific explanation. Lord Kapila Dev explains what is called Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is Sankhya means to count all of the things that are material in this world. And by elimination of that, you come to the spiritual. It's a great science, and it's explained by the teachings of Lord Kapila Dev in the third canto of Bhagavatam.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, dear, and nice to hear from you again.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you read Chaitanya Charitamrita yet?
Yes, I started to. Yes, thank you. It's really mind blowing. I'll send you. I'll have some interesting situations come out. Started reading that. So
Good, thank you. I was happy to see you. Was happy to be there when we presented you with the set.
yes, thank you. Thank you for offering this. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Dear devotees, any questions or comments?
Okay, should we end here?
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, thank you. So tomorrow's class is with Harrisburg devotees. Anasuya Mataji said she will update the verse because she said it is a mistake in the schedule she has given. So she'll update me the verse today, Maharaj. I'll message you later.
Okay.
About the verse. Yeah, it will be at the same time. And Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, I'll send the link in the WhatsApp group. Maharaj, do you have time for chanting a little bit today?
Let me check and see what's going on around me here. Okay. Okay, yes, we can begin chanting.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, please stay on for chanting. Thank you.
Okay. Everyone sit with your back straight. Whether you sit in a chair or you sit cross-legged on a cushion, please keep your back straight. And with your left hand, you can do this mudra. It's like this. The thumb and the forefinger connected like a circle with the other three fingers like this. That's your left hand. That is called the mudra of concentration. It helps. And we begin by approaching the Lord through Lord Chaitanya, with the chanting through Lord Chaitanya. And we chant the Panchatattva mantra. Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hari Hari, Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hari Hari Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama Rama Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Let them in. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare.